You serious? That's stupid. Sounds like I know. Save. Do, do, do. Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is your spiritual nomad Montre Bible. Yep, that's my real last name, and I'm going to be doing a reaction to the Wake Up Calls channel. And I figure, hey, if I'm going to watch YouTube, might as well watch YouTube with you guys. Happy Saturday to y'all. He's talking about the UK. Y'all hear about the UK arresting people for social media content, which is the weirdest things because there's so much weird stuff. Weird is the NPC word for the year. Weird stuff going on. You know, um, they have a lot of crime going on in the UK. If you've been watching social media, a lot of people like going into the country and just causing havoc, uh, kind of like what's going on in the United States. And I'm wondering if this is like a psyop or some type of purposely driven agenda to disrupt the Western world. And I've already seen that, in the cards and in astrology that the country U.S. is done for. It's done for. But to bring things even to a worse head is just saying like people can't say anything on social media. And they're trying to instill that fear of what you say is going to get you arrested. Better watch out, boss. So I just wanted to watch this. Hopefully everything is playing right. Let me make sure because last time my video was acting crazy. We're going to come after you. All right. Okay, guys, let me get ready.
Welcome, everyone, to the Wake Up Call channel. Everybody needs to pay attention to what's happening in every single country around the earth right now. And the main thing we need to discuss is how they're forcing behaviors. They're forcing people to change behaviors by criminalizing people's speech, by telling you what you can and cannot say. And as human beings, we all should be pushing back against this.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you about 10 stories that are circulating right now in all different countries. And the common theme is this word hate speech. And what it's about is censoring and putting laws in place and criminalizing people for talking. That's what we're at in today's world. This is how insane things have gotten. Let's start in the UK. If you didn't hear, I covered this story a week or so ago about a stabbing that occurred in the UK, and then staged riots happened.
You said, I've been seeing this for years. And it started with TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Yeah, that's just blocking people. I think the censorship also was happening on YouTube, especially during the pandemic. I've been blacklisted a couple of times. They made me take a re-education course because I said some wrong speech. Of course, I medical misinformation. You can't say anything about the thing, and if you say stuff against it or whatever, they're gonna put you on a list, which is probably why my views went down a lot because they put me in a shadow ban. I don't play with TikTok. I did a post about something adrenochrome. Ooh, can I say that on here? On that kind of stuff. And you see, like a lot of young people don't say certain words because they're afraid they're going to get banned. So it's already starting with social media. So back to the video.
Happened after it, and they blamed it on misinformation. That, they were blaming it on a Muslim, so all these hate crimes started to happen. And then, of course, since then, we have UK authorities who are threatening extradition and jail time for US citizens for online posts stoking riots. And again, we know that the laws are different in each country right now in regards to free speech, hate speech, and all these other things. Some countries, they're criminalizing free speech and the things that you post online. When the digital ID is in place, all countries are going to begin criminalizing people for what they say online because you won't be able to speak anonymously. This has nothing to do with your skin color or your gender or anything else. This has to do with global elites protecting their power and protecting themselves.
Yeah, they don't want you saying anything or influencing people a certain direction. This world agenda, and I keep telling folks the World Economic Forum is the biggest agenda that people really need to be concerned about. This group of like oligarchs coming together and deciding how they want the world to go. World Economic Forum Agenda 2030. Everybody's talking about, oh, Trump and the religious agenda 24. Don't even worry about that, because the main big one is the world global agenda of them. These business people who are really doing this, these are the people who planned the pandemic. They planned this Mpox thing, but I'm not going to say a lot about that because YouTube, but the owner of YouTube just died. So I don't know if they're changing the rules or not. But yeah, if you say anything against what the agenda is and you bring up conspiracies, but even though they tell us these things straight out, what they're going to do, and they already said they were going to do pandemic too, and they were going to be better at it. And I've seen the videos, the little training videos. They're not training videos. They're basically, they're practicing what they're going to do when it happens. And basically, they're trying to make it happen, but it's going to make them money. Like the people who made the most money off of this was Big Pharma and a lot of other business people that are involved. But it ain't us that's making the money. I'm just saying.
From us. And of course, protecting information from actually getting out to civilians who can figure out, or so they can figure out what's going on, and we could stop this tyranny from going forward, this treason, this global treason that's happening right now from going forward. So let me start by showing you the UK and talking about losing free speech and being criminalized and throwing US citizens out of the UK for online posts. That's how unbelievable the world is in 2024.
British authorities are threatening to hold Americans accountable for online activity the British police blame for stoking violent riots happening on their streets. Here's national correspondent Kayla Gaskins.
The worst riots the United Kingdom has seen in years, fueled by false information spread online. Rumors claiming a Muslim asylum seeker is the one responsible for a mass stabbing that left 3 children dead and several more injured at a Taylor Swift-themed event. The suspect, however, is a 17-year-old UK citizen born in Wales to Rwandan parents. The head of police now threatening extradition and jail time to U.S. citizens for online posts allegedly egging on the violence from afar.
If you're a keyboard warrior, you're not safe from the law if you incite violence.
Giving this response when a Sky News reporter asked about the controversial comments made by the riots on X.
That's like a lot of speculation. You can't say that, oh, the reason why we had riots was because people saw stuff on social media. I mean, people could have saw stuff in real life and been upset. And saying the guy is not Muslim, he's from Rwanda, and there's a lot of Muslim Rwandans from the UK. So both things can be true. So they're like, no, he's not Muslim. He's from UK. Like there's no Muslims in the UK. I don't get it.
By Elon Musk.
We will throw the false force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
UK authorities have already arrested their own citizens for online activity. For example, a 55-year-old woman was arrested for publishing written material to stir up racial hatred and false communication. 2 other British men also.
So wrong speech. But what jurisdiction does the UK have over here to say, oh, you can't say that? I mean, you can say whatever you want to say. Yeah, you can't yell fire in a theater. But it's just like they're trying to make this whole global police kind of thing. I don't like it. What you gonna do? UK? You gonna come over to the States? Ain't coming to Texas, I tell you that much.
Arrested for social media posts. The Prime Minister sending this warning.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online.
We spoke with Aaron Tur with the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression.
The government absolutely should arrest and prosecute anyone engaged in political violence. But in times of unrest, governments have a tendency to overreach and to undermine civil liberties like freedom of speech in the name of public safety.
UK laws surrounding free speech are different than those here in the US. And while it's not impossible, it's highly unlikely.
UK doesn't have free speech. They don't. There's nothing in, I don't know if they don't have a constitution, but it's like something that they wrote that allows some type of speech, but deters others. But it's not the same as our constitution and our amendment rights. It's not the same.
Likely British authorities will go after US-based social media posters like Elon Musk for violating British laws.
They want to get rid of Elon because Twitter X is a very big free speech platform where you can say whatever, but also you can block whoever. You don't have to listen to everything. It is, it has opened the door so that people can speak their mind. And a lot of people have spoken their mind about what's going on in the world. Before Elon, you could not say, they hid a lot of stuff, and the government was hiding a lot of stuff. The government was filtering and working with Facebook to filter things, working with YouTube to filter things, and working with Twitter. And that's when those Twitter files came out. And I don't know if you guys remember that, because society has the memory of a fruit fly. But when Elon took over, basically he kicked all of those people out, and now people have been spreading the word about what's been going on. I've heard about a lot of things, especially with the people who have had bad reactions. Before that, they were getting rid of those posts. They were getting rid of people who had been deceased because of that, and now you can see it. You can just look it up. And it's like, okay, now we see the truth of what's been going on, but they still want to keep that under wraps because they're ready for part 2. They want to do this again. But of course, they got to get control of information. And if the government's trying to control information, that is a bad thing.
An online space.
So this is the future that we're allowing them to create. And this is being done psychologically by design, right? They gaslight
100%.
people, and they make people feel like speech and words are deadly by creating false flags and psyops around them, right? By saying, this guy posted this online, his followers heard it, and then they went and did this. No longer are you held accountable for your own actions. Somebody else is being held accountable for someone else's actions via words, which is exactly what their plan is, which is why they've been doing all this stuff with the trans, with people of different skin colors, different genders. It's all been done by design so that you comply with it, right? Let's look at some of the other stuff all happening at once, where we're actually seeing these mass amounts of stories coming out, talking about censorship of speech, calling it hate speech, right? Recently, Elon Musk talked to Donald Trump. Again, they're proponents of this free speech thing. All this censorship, I might add.
I don't know if y'all were tuning into that whole conversation of Elon Musk and Donald Trump on Twitter Spaces or X Space, whatever they call it now. I tuned in for at least half of it, and then I fell asleep because, Elon Musk has that kind of voice. He talks like this all the time, and he's just like, I'm just thinking like this. And I was like, oh man, this dude is putting me to sleep. But it was an interesting conversation. I'm still voting for Robert Kennedy, but it was the conversation that they had was interesting. And if you guys have not heard it, do not go by what the media is telling you about the conversation. Go listen to it for yourself.
Again, all started occurring under Donald Trump as president of the United States. I can guarantee you it. In 2017, when he became president, all the censorship flooded in. That's when people were removed from YouTube, and they didn't talk about it then. But as the years went by, and then finally towards the end of his 4 years, they started talking about it, saying, well, it wasn't Donald Trump's fault. It was these liberal tech companies. Well, as the president of the United States, wouldn't you be able to go to these companies and say, if you're not going to allow people to write whatever they want online, well, we're going to remove your company, or we're going to do something towards you and fine you or imprison you as the CEO, whatever, right? But of course he didn't do that, because the tech companies and the corporations are really, they are the government, right? So Europe pressed Elon Musk to curb hate speech ahead of that interview with Donald Trump, right? Other stories, the controversy surrounding the anti-Semitism bill, which again, I covered this story. This bill that was passed is called the anti-Semitism bill. It, of course, protects the real people who you're not allowed to question, you're not allowed to talk about. And everybody out there should say, well, if this one specific group can't be questioned or talked about, maybe I should be suspicious of them. Maybe there's something wrong if you can't question them. Well, they can't question them because they've been victims forever, and it's not fair. Well, that should make you think even more to yourself. Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, can anybody say that about, can't black people say, can anybody say anything about being a victim or being under attack? Well, this group has been under the worst.
I think people talk more anti-Semitism. And in the anti-Semitism, the Semites basically are not just the Jews, it's the Arabs too, because they're Semites as well. But nobody claims anti-Semitism against, talking about the Arab people. And we see, I don't know. I'm not going to even go there, because they're going, oh, he's an anti-Semite. Actually, I don't agree with Zionism. Zionism is a whole nother ball of wax. But if you talk against Zionism, well, guess what? You're anti-Semite. And they're like, no, not quite. Well, that's another conversation.
Attacks of all time. So you can't question anything about them, especially what's in the books that they read. We just want you to think that they read the Old Testament, and we'll leave it there. We won't let Christians figure it out. And if Christians start to figure it out and find Christians who preach this, well, we'll make sure they don't, because they'll be censored under this new law, right? This law is another law that will not only censor free speech, it'll censor Christians, because the Bible is going to be included in what you can and cannot say in this anti-Semitism.
And this channel, let me just give you a background. This guy's very highly Christian channel. I'm not, but I like what he says, but I'm not anti-Christian either. So I tell people that. So I just I don't believe that the world should be anti-Christian, and where it becomes so easily for people to talk against Christian beliefs. I grew up as a Christian. I understand Christian beliefs. And so I don't understand how this world can be so anti-Christian now and talk against what Christians believe or make a mockery of Christians. That's just rude. That's rude. You don't do that to Jews. You don't do that. Well, they do. No, you don't even do it to Muslims, because Muslims are very they're very strict about what they believe. And, I give respect to everybody, even if I don't agree with you. I don't agree with folks, hanging people because of their sexuality. But, the way we have gone so far to being anti-Christian, quote unquote, antichrist, is scary. It's very scary.
This isn't bill. So that's another hate speech thing that they're pushing. Recently, Meta, Instagram failed to curtail hate speech against women politicians, right? So now there's hate speech against women politicians. And this isn't about protecting women. It's not they want you to think it's about protecting you, whatever group you fall into, a woman, a black person, a Mexican person, a white person, a gay person, a straight person, a trans person. It doesn't matter. They're hitting you with stories at every angle to make you suddenly get so desensitized that you go, oh, that's hate speech. Oh, that's hate speech. That's hate speech. Instead of going, I don't give a crap what this person says. That's how normal humans actually have functioned for all these years, by going, all right, I don't care what they say. Or if somebody says something that really hurts your feelings, you say, hey, apologize or knock it off. Or, we're going to have to take this outside and handle it another way. But of course, we all know in 2024, breathing on someone is considered assault. So speech, of course, is like the newest nuclear bomb, so to speak, right? So all this stuff with Musk. And then we, of course, have these other stories that are floating around, right? You can go on like ESPN or any of these sports websites. Jaron Durant suspended 2 games. Why was he suspended 2 games? Well, a fan who was yelling at him, yelling things that he sucks, he's not a good baseball player, right? Eye for an eye, maybe. you'd think he could shout something back, but what he shouted back, well, you can't say that, right? And of course, the word that he said back begins with an F and ends with a G. And in fact, in all this stuff that's been going on with censorship.
Okay, we know what he called him. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he's suspended for shouting homophobic slur at a fan who heckled him. Listen, I don't know if the guy was the F word or not. Yeah, that's bad. But still, come on. Especially in baseball. Who was it? Jackie Robinson, black baseball player. He went through, he's known, Jackie Robinson, was he the first black baseball player? But he got heckled so much. People call him racist stuff. He pushed through and whatever, and people rewarded him and put him on a platform for holding his head up high, even going through very racist times. And baseball players tend to get heckled because they're like, the audience is like right there, and they all get heckled. They all get called all types of names that should not be said. So yeah, he was a third. Oh really? But he got a lot of verbal abuse. Yeah, and I think verbal abuse is hard. I'm saying, I don't know if I could be the same. I might say something too. I'm like, this it's got to be something. It's like if someone's getting heckled and you're trying to play your game and you're just trying to do your job, and then people are just abusing you. It's just like, gosh, like why throw him out? Like get the person. I would have been like, get him out of here. Get him out of here. It's like any job, really, because if I have, if even my day job, if I have someone who's just being rude, I'm going to hang up the phone. Like, seriously, I'm not going to say anything to them. I'm just going to hang up the phone. Let's get this going.
Censoring speech, they've taken away probably the best word that anyone's ever come up with. It's a day-to-day word that most people still try to use. They just can't use it on the internet anymore. But Jarren Duran used that term. A fan yelled at him and said stuff towards him. So naturally, you would think that somebody could defend themselves and yell something back. But they tell you you can, but only if you say the right thing. So because if he just said to the person, F you or screw you, then nobody would care. But because he used this word, which is a homophobic slur, well, now he's suspended 2 games without pay. And again, these stories are out there, and the way that these teams respond to it shows you that they're in on it, because all the corporations and all the sports teams, et cetera, do the same thing. They're doing this so you see it. And they know by you seeing it, they're telling you this is how you have to live now. This is what you can and cannot say. And this goes back to Larry Fink and behavioral control.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing.
We're going to have to force behaviors. Is that what we're doing now? And who are these people? Who are these people? Is he a politician? These are just business people just deciding on how society is going to go and saying we're going to have to force behaviors. Look at them. They're all like dressed the same. And what is this meeting that they're having? And that's what I'm telling you. Like we are being run by businessmen who are all just conspiring and like, oh, if you say that, oh, conspiracy theories. No, it's like all these rich guys conspiring against us and trying to control us and what we do and what we say.
We're asking companies, you have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors.
BlackRock.
Here's another story.
BlackRock. That's a big corporate thing. So what they do, they trickle it down, and they bring, like I said, what I learned from the last pandemic, they can't force you directly. They try to force your job to create policies and what you can do. And that's how they do it. Basically, they try to make policies for how you get a job. and how you make your money. And if you don't follow these rules, you can't have that job, basically. So that's what they're doing. And they're going to try it again because they weren't successful the first time. In the public schools too. Yeah, you're right. You are exactly right. Big thing is, listen. So Trump was talking about ending the Department of Education, which is a federal controlled, and the Department of Education, the education system in America sucks. It sucks. So that's one thing I agree with him about. Like the Department of Education has really brought down education because it's trying to bring this whole level thing of like everyone needs to have these tests and everyone needs to test this. All they're doing is educating kids how to take tests, but they're not really educating kids. They're educating kids how about gender ideology now, but that doesn't matter. That's not going to get you a job. But a lot of people are, when they get out of high school now, a lot of these kids that are getting out of high school, they're going to college for, gender studies and racial studies and stuff like that. That's not going to get you a job. What job are you going for? To be an activist? I don't know what these young people are doing now. That's why I'm saying Pluto and Aquarius. Society is about to change. I already talked about that in one video with the Pluto return with the United States. This whole country is about to fall apart and be rebuilt, burnt in the ashes like a phoenix. And it'll rise again, but it's going to be in a different form. But is it going to be good or bad? And that's the question. And I'm Gen X, and so a lot of stuff with my generation is not going to change. The millennials are going to probably be the ones to run a lot of stuff, and the Gen Alpha are going to be the new kids who are going to be the new leaders of a new world. But, I'll be an old man by that time. What are you saying? Teachers are being fired for not using. Oh, Lord. I remember a day back in my day. Teachers didn't tell us anything about their personal lives. Like nothing. I didn't know we assumed, oh, that teacher's gay. Kids are, how we are. When we were kids, we were like, oh yeah, that one's gay. I think he's dating that teacher because that teacher's gay too. But the teachers never told us. They never confirmed it. They barely told us anything about their personal lives. I had a teacher, we knew he was a bartender because he was like kind of rough around the edges, but we didn't know any more about his personal life than anything else. It was just like, okay, he's kind of rough. He's, kind of scary. But what else? My daughter didn't go, and my non-binary child is changing schools. Oh, changing schools. Okay, that's good. It's the child's pronouns. I thought my teacher lived at school. I thought my teacher lived at school too. Like when I left, they were there, and I came back, they were still there. So yeah, it was a very different time. I didn't know most about their personal lives. And when I got in high school, I realized they did have personal lives. They were very different. But yeah, nowadays it's pretty common for teachers to really share a lot of personal information about themselves. And they're trying to become the new parents, which is scary because if I had children, and I don't, I don't think so. I've had a lot of sex, but nobody's told me yet. But if I was a parent, I would not want a teacher raising my child or telling them what to believe. I just want them to educate them on certain subjects. That's it. Point blank, period. That's it, Anyways, looks like he's about to talk about Ray Gun. Let's get into Ray Gun, the little break dancer. Now, before we go into it, let me just kind of go into this. My personal opinions about Ray Gun. Total joke. And be that she got so much attention, Rachel Gunn, for being a horrible break dancer. And then she tried to use a gender card to basically say, oh, like I'm trying to do things for women and this is all oppression of women. Not saying that there were other women breakdancers that were way better than her and no one gave them attention and no one praised them. But yet people making fun of her is because she's a woman. Nah, bitch. It's because you suck. So we can't make fun of you because you put yourself on the world stage and said, look at me. But now you can't take it because people are making fun of you. And it's because you're a woman. Nah, it's because you suck. And this is that whole, I'm sure he's going to talk about it, but throwing out the gender card because I'm a woman and y'all don't like me because I'm a woman. That's that shit that pisses me off. I'm sorry, I'm cussing. Sorry. What? What'd you say? It's only when the teacher doesn't do what that parent should do that the parent is offended. Oh, okay. And sometimes I know a lot of teachers do kind of step in where parents are failing, and that's kind of hard. I've seen some good teachers that do that, and there are also some bad teachers that do that too, where parents are neglecting their children. And we've seen good and bad on both sides. So where maybe the parent's not combing the child's hair. We've seen those situations where the child is coming to school and they're unruly and the teacher takes care of them. And because the kids are making fun of them. And then we've also seen the reverse where the teacher does something to the child's hair, cuts it when the parents did not permit it. And because it was like whatever. And that was a racial thing. I think it was a long time ago, like some braids or something, and the teacher cut the hair. And that was unruly. Either way, I think as a teacher, if I was a teacher, before you put hands on a child physically, whether fixing their hair or whatever, you need to consult the parent. You need to have a conversation with the parent and say, hey, I notice your child is coming to school every day and their hair is not very well done. Is there something going on? Is there something we can help with? Is there something I can do? I can take some time out in the morning to help you out if you need help. Not to say that you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? Because, young parents are quick to get offended. Because that's the generation we live in now. Everyone's offended about something. But yeah, before you deal with other people's children, having dealt with children and teens before in the past and had jobs dealing with teens, yeah, before you put hands on them, or you shouldn't put hands on them at all, but because if you're working, but you need to talk to the parents and say, hey, what's going on with your kid? I've had kids like get crazy on me, and I'm like, yo, dude, what's going on? Can we go to the other room? You need to tear something up. You mad? You angry? And there was one kid, he was really upset and he was like tearing up stuff. And I was like, yo, let's go to this other room. I see you angry. Let's go to this other room. Back then we had phone books. We don't have those anymore. I wish we did. And I said, hey, I see you mad. I'm angry too. Because I was mad because he was making me mad. And I said, hey, here's a phone book. Tear this stuff up. Tear it up. You want to tear something up? Here's a phone book. Tear it up. I want you to tear every page out of a phone book. I don't know if you've ever tried to tear all the pages out of a phone book, but it's a long process. He got tired because I know boys, and boys get very angry, and I've been very angry too. But there's other methods of dealing with male anger other than slapping them, because that ain't gonna work. It's just gonna make them more angry. Anyways, back to the video of Ray Gunn.
Ray Gunn, the Australian Olympic Committee, condemned disgraceful online petition attacking Rachel Gunn. Rachel Gunn apparently was a breakdancer at the Olympics that did this hideous, embarrassing thing, which now, after seeing this story, seems like it's very set up, right? So we had a breakdancer. Everyone looked and said, this person There's no way they qualified to be a breakdancer. They're absolutely embarrassing. This is horrific. How is this at
It was
the
a
Olympics,
joke.
right? Even though we should probably have the notion of how do we even have Olympics or why in the world would breakdancing be a part of the Olympics? That should be the real question. But people were upset because they said this was horrible. It was disgraceful performance, right? And after the fact, you of course see why they came out and put this person in the Olympics to embarrass themselves, because you're hurting her feelings now online. So people started an online petition attacking her because she was so horrible. And the government and the Olympic Committee are condemning people for criticizing a horrible performance. This is what so look at where we start, right?
Wait, why is the government getting involved? And see, that's the problem right there.
Anti-Semitism bills, homophobic slurs, hate speech. And then look how it filters down. This person danced on TV, was awful, but you're hurting her feelings by saying she sucks, right? So to people out there, no matter what your belief system is, do you start to see where this is headed? Do you want to be able to have an opinion on things? Then push back against this. But they don't want you to push back, and they won't let you push back because they're trying to control your behavior. And anybody out there that listens to this stuff and then repeats it and says, oh, yeah, we need to watch what people say. That person's feelings were hurt.
No.
They're a part of the problem, and they're no different than being government.
Where was the
stooges
government when my feelings were getting hurt? Nowhere. I've been called so many things out of the book, especially on YouTube, and YouTube didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. I had to block people. I was blocking folks. I put people in filters. And you know what? I say one thing and I get shadow banned. What? Yeah. Yeah. I got a personal. I'm a Pisces. I feel personal about this. Yeah, people gonna talk about you. Does the government get involved? For some people, but not for everybody.
Themselves. They're just people who can't freely think and are very easily moldable. And the government is molding these people into complete sheeple. So Ireland, another story, Ireland to clamp down on social media companies who are refusing to remove hate speech, right? Oh, okay. And then you have all the stuff going on with Muslims and Israel, right? The anti-Muslim speech online, anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim, anti-this, anti-that. They're dictating what you're allowed to have an opinion on, what you're not. They're dictating this stuff because you're getting emotionally invested in, oh, well, I'm for Israel or I'm for Palestine. They shouldn't be able to say anything anti-Semitic. They shouldn't be able to say anything anti-Muslim. Oh, okay, so let's get laws in place. And then the next thing you know, those laws filter down to, let's say, a horrible breakdance performance at the Olympics, and people online mocking and getting a petition together to say there's no way this person should be there in the first place. Or how about even the other Olympic story? They put a boxer in there that nobody knows if it's a man or a woman, right? Punching a woman in the boxing fight. Every single celebrity who is a conservative, every single alt-right media like the Daily Wire threw out millions of videos condemning it, making fun. Oh, I can't believe this.
This thing got way a lot of attention. And I've heard so much stuff. And I really, honestly, I think it's gotten too much attention. Iman Khalif. Now they're saying that she has a medical condition where technically she has an XY chromosome. That's yet to be proven true or false. But I've seen where that information has been put out. Honestly, I don't care. It's not gonna change my world one way or another. But it has brought up the whole gender ideology back up, and whether trans people can play in sports. This person is not trans. This person is actually born female or born a girl, which is possibly a sexually intersex person. So somebody who has the aspects of both sexes. Okay. So gender and sex, of course, if you watch my channel, gender and sex are two different things. Gender is the energy that you put out, masculine or feminine. And this woman puts out a very masculine energy, but her sex may be female. But I would say she's a very masculine female, and her sex may be if she has a sexual deformity, she may be actually, if she has an XY chromosome, if that's true, and I'm just saying hypothetically, if that's true, then she's a male with a lot of female characteristics. But she still presents as very masculine. Because I've seen some other pictures of her and I'm like, oh, that's looks like a dude. Like, where's the boobs? Like, everything about her looks very masculine. Like, she's very masculine looking, honestly. And I mean, she may have been raised as a girl and she may not have a penis, but it could be like, oh, seriously, I've seen some small, I'm bisexual, y'all. If y'all have not remembered that, I've seen some very small penises. And I've seen some males who've got penises that might as well be gay. You had no choice. Oh, let me stop. Anyways, yeah, there are some guys who are very tiny, itsy bitsy, and that's a genetic kind of thing. And what if you're born male, but your penis is so inverted, it looks like you're a girl, and so your parents raise you as a girl, but you're actually a guy. And I've seen guys who have so tiny, it's like tiny. It's like, how in the world do you? I'm not gonna judge those guys, but I've seen it with my own eyes. So, yeah, that's a thing. So I mean, if you live your life as a woman, that's what their parents decided. I'm thinking. And I don't know for sure. And I like I said, I don't think I really care that much. But yeah, Iman Khalif really kicked some ass during the boxing thing. But I'm thinking like, oh, maybe she got a little bit too much male hormones going on. That's probably why. But it's neither here or there. She won. Okay. Be a girl. That's your life.
We need to do something about it, right? Problem, reaction, solution. Oh, well, that boxer wasn't really born a male. She was born a woman, supposedly, and is now suing people who posted stuff.
No one's born a woman. They're born female. You're born female. You're not born a woman. Well, a woman is what you develop into.
Ridiculed her online. Oh, right. So that shows you how COINTELPRO works, right? The Daily Wire, all these companies out there, all these media companies, all they did was pull people in, right? Being the agents they are. So now more laws are going to be in place to protect people, but it's not to protect anybody. It's not to protect a gay or a trans. It's to protect these wicked global elites. Because the more stuff that's in place, guess what?
Okay, so he's always like, I've seen his other videos and he's pointing out how they're doing the one eye symbolism thing. And like, they're saying Iman Khalif is a part of that system to promote that. And that's why they were put on the world stage. And because they're a part of that whole system, the one eye system, we know what we're talking about.
You won't be able to question the news anymore. You won't be able to question anything in regards to them. This isn't about protecting anybody's feelings out there. It's about protecting their own arses, so to speak. So keep in mind, all of these stories are happening within a week of each other. Okay. And they're happening in every country. Some hate speech thing there, some hate speech thing there. At the same time as that Social Security story and how people's Social Security numbers have been hacked and how Australia is.
I should do a whole video about the Social Security hacking. I was thinking about doing a tarot reading on it and seeing like what's up with that.
Now rolling out their digital ID, and other countries need to do so as well. Why? Well, the tie-in is that you can be criminalized for what you post online. So in other words, say, for example, you're a YouTuber and you've gotten banned from this platform. I can't think of anybody who has, but let's just say hypothetically, right? You had lots of subs, you got banned, you got thrown off. It's happened to a lot of people, right? Well, what if you just kept coming back and kept coming back? Well, they don't want that. And the only way they can prevent that, of course, is if you show your face, which is you giving up your identity anyway. And then they could criminalize you and do what they did to Alex Jones, which of course was all done by design to set a precedent on what you can and cannot say online, right? And of course,
Alex Jones, the frogs are going to make you gay.
But that was partially true, though, really. Alex Jones has a bad execution on how he says things. He's actually telling you some pretty good facts. Like there were some chemicals that were making frogs change the sex or something. Some really crazy stuff. Like sometimes I listen to Alex Jones. I don't know where to find him, but I just sometimes run into his videos. I find him on Twitter, I think sometimes. Because like they closed him down. They really shut him down. That was scary.
Are criminalizing conspiracy theorists. But let's just say, for example, you're thrown off YouTube, you were anonymous, you keep coming back. Well, with the digital ID, you won't be able to go on the internet. And in fact, with a digital ID, everybody will be known in the internet space, right? So all of these things tie in together. They're going to criminalize speech. And it's only because we're allowing them to get away with this. Don't let your feelings get sucked into this stuff. People need to grow a pair, okay? Grow a pair. Somebody hurts your feelings. Part of the problem is that, everybody's allowed to say something, but you can't.
2.9 billion. I got to do. Come on, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I've been thinking about it too long. I got my tarot cards right here. We're going to do a random tarot reading because that's what I do. All right. What question should I ask about this social security? The social security hacking. Is this real? Is this real? Like, did someone really hack the social security numbers of everyone? Creator of all things, speaking of right? Because I got to do a tarot reading in the middle of this, right? Because that's what I do, right? That's my bread. I was like, I need to do a tarot on that, but I just didn't care that much. Not that my credit's bad or anything, but yeah. Okay. So I get a yes. We got the 6 of Wands that says yes, someone's trying to conquer. The Strength card, trying to give themselves power. But we got to know too. So there's still some untruth here. We don't have a complete truth. Someone did hack and get a bunch of social security numbers. But the Knight of Cups says no. So there's a half lie here. And the 6 of Swords. The 6 of Swords reversed on the bottom of the deck, talking about going backwards or coming back from a long journey. Oh, somebody's making money. Of course. This is something having to do with the economy. So yeah, there was a hacking, but maybe not as big as they are saying. Maybe not as big as they're saying. Why is this happening now? Why is this happening now? Why is this breach happening now? Wait. Better question. Is the government controlling this? Did the government allow this breach? Did the government allow this breach? Ooh, got a jumper. The World card. That's a no. King of Cups. That's a yes. That's a yes. Oh my goodness. The government. We got the King of Cups and the Ace of Swords and the World card. So this is a half and half. The government, yes, allowed it, but they knew what was going on, but the government didn't do it. It's almost like they allowed someone else outside. And I don't feel like whoever hacked it was not the United States. We got the World card reversed, which means, the whole collective. Okay. But we got the King of Cups and the Ace of Swords. This is leadership. This is leadership, y'all. And the King of Cups, the president. And then on the bottom of the deck, the eight of Pentacles. Someone who's working towards something, who's trying to retrain something. I don't think it's Biden, because Biden's too out of pocket right now, but it's definitely leadership of, and get someone who is trying to make command. But also, it's more than just our government. It's several governments. The world card reversed. Yeah, create panic. I agree with you.
You can't physically confront anybody about it because that's considered terrorism.
I didn't press
right?
play. Slow down. Yeah, create panic. I totally agree with you. This is remember I was talking about the World Economic Forum? The world card reversed. Our country, it's not our government that's allowing it. It's someone higher up. It's the shadow government. It's the government above our government that's telling our government, release the Social Security. The social insecurity, basically. They're working towards something. They're working towards something to prepare a new system. Be careful, y'all. Be careful what y'all fall for. There's a world system trying to be put in place right now. I be trying to tell my mama, but she don't be believing me.
So people's words don't have actions. And people are saying, wait, I want somebody's words to be held accountable. Well, in the past, how are people held accountable for what they said? If you said something to someone really offensive, like if you were walking down the street with your boyfriend or your wife or your husband, whoever, right? And somebody said something to them and you were like, what? And you hit them or something. That's how people would handle stuff. Now, of course, as they've made people weaker, more emotional, more fragile, that stuff's considered assault. Not that I'm condoning that. I'm saying, for an example, in the past, people would say, hey, look, this person said that to, their face. Hey, they got to, reap what they sow, right? No. The government goes, no. Not because they want to protect you from a fist, because they want this stuff in place. And this stuff in place with words means you can't do anything about it. But guess what? Big Brother will put laws in place to protect you and your feelings, but ultimately be about protecting themselves from the truth ever getting out about who they are, what they're doing, and how they're doing it. That's what this is all about. And once they have full control of the internet, it'll be very hard to find any truth anymore. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.
All right, y'all. We know what they're doing. We already know what they're doing. They're trying to control information. They're trying to control the truth. And, stay vigilant on who you are and what you can do.
So you have a daredevil?
No, I don't. These videos be tripping me out. But I think I'm gonna go to TikTok and do some readings. But yeah, you guys, Natalie, love you always. But yeah, this world is crazy. And don't be Betty Foo-Foo. Don't let the world fool you, because they're trying to do some stuff. They're trying to do a lot of stuff. So let me go talk to the kids on TikTok and see what's going on with them. I got to spread myself around on this social media stuff. Talk to you later. Make your reality happen, because if you don't do it, then who will?